Everyone thinks motivation is the secret to success, but motivation disappears the moment life gets heavy. Waiting to feel ready never lasts long enough to change anything. Motivation becomes a light that keeps flickering out. Every time you reach for it, it fades, leaving you stuck in the same place. Plans, schedules, and promises fall apart on the days you don't feel like it, and those days come very often. A painful truth starts to appear. Motivation feels good, but it doesn't make you better. It gives you hope, but not progress. And then things get worse. The more you rely on motivation, the more you blame yourself when it disappears. But your brain isn't broken. It's doing exactly what a human brain is designed to do. Motivation lives in the emotional part of the brain. It spikes when everything feels exciting and crashes the moment things get uncomfortable. That's why motivation feels amazing at first. It's a dopamine rush. But dopamine isn't built for long term consistency. Motivation collapses under pressure. It's unstable, unpredictable, and emotional. It can't carry you through the days that matter most, but there's something different, something quieter, something stronger. Discipline. Discipline doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't give a rush, but it gives something motivation never could. It gives progress. Discipline comes from the prefrontal cortex, the logical part of the brain responsible for decisions, habits, and long term thinking. Unlike motivation, discipline grows stronger the more it's used. It's like a muscle, not a mood. Discipline isn't about doing big things, it's about doing small things consistently, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline protects you from distractions, it keeps you moving when motivation disappears. And every small win rewires your brain. Slowly, consistently, becomes easier than quitting. A powerful realization emerges. Motivation might start the journey, but discipline finishes it. Once science becomes clear, everything changes. You stop wanting for motivation, you start building discipline. And that's when my life finally started moving forward. Because discipline doesn't care how you feel, it cares who you become. Discipline isn't about massive change, it's about tiny improvements that stack quietly day after day. Every check mark rewires the brain a little more. Identity shifts from someone who tries to someone who shows up. Distractions don't disappear, you stop letting them decide your future. Starting for just 2 minutes becomes enough to break the mental resistance that once felt impossible. Resistance feels huge at first, but discipline makes it lighter. Not because the task changes, but because you do. Motivation is a spark, discipline is a path, and once you step onto that path, progress becomes predictable. Every disciplined action strengthens the brain's self control circuits. You're literally training your mind to work for you, not against you. The feeling still comes laziness, doubt, excuses, but discipline teaches you to move away. Consistency is something motivation never could. It builds momentum. Momentum makes the day easier, it makes easy days automatic. Even when life gets chaotic, discipline keeps you grounded. It becomes an anchor. Neuroscience calls this neuroplasticity. The brain rewires itself based on what you repeatedly do. The more discipline is practiced, the more doors open, not because of luck, but because of consistency. A painful truth becomes clear. The old life wasn't built on failure, it was built on waiting. And action, not motivation, is the key to unlocking everything. Once you stop waiting to feel ready, you finally start becoming ready. Days turn to weeks, weeks turn into habits, and habits turn into identity. You're no longer controlled by emotion, you're guided by choices. Motivation depends on feelings, discipline depends on action. Discipline works, but old habits still try to pull you back. They don't disappear quietly, they fight to stay alive. Every step forward becomes with it resistance. But this time, you don't run from the struggle, you push through it. You might be tired, you might be defeated. For the first time, you feel proud of showing up even when it's hard. Science says the old habits weaken when you stop feeding them. Your brain rewires itself based on what you repeat and what you stop repeating. The comfort zone stopped feeling comfortable. It was never comfort, it was familiarity. Discipline helps you step beyond it. You start acting for your future self, not your current feelings. That shift alone changes everything. Excuses still whisper, but discipline teaches you to hear them without obeying them. Writing down your reasons brings clarity. Discipline grows stronger when you know why. Feelings stop deciding your actions. Values take the lead. Some days are still hard, but discipline doesn't promise easy, it promises progress. You stumble, everyone does, but discipline teaches you something motivation never teaches: how to get back up. You don't restart, you continue. That's the difference between disciplined people and everyone else. Neuroscientists call this long term potentiation, the strengthening of self control circuits throughout rejection. You no longer need motivation to move. You move because that's who you are becoming. Identity shifts. You're not pretending to be disciplined, you're becoming disciplined. Self control stops being a battle, it becomes a skill. Life doesn't get easier, you get stronger. Discipline becomes a shield. You stop choosing what feels good now, you start choosing what feels right later. Habit becomes seed, small, quiet, unnoticed, until they grow. Discipline grows roots, deep ones, roots that hold you steady even when life tries to shake you. The brain changes too. Emotion spikes become quieter, more manageable. Excuses that once felt powerful now feel small. Discipline makes them irrelevant. You reach a place you never thought you'd see, not because of talent, but because you kept going. Your mind stops fighting you, it starts working with you. You see visions of yourself you never believed you could become. For the first time, you feel aligned with them. Because discipline isn't just something you do, it's who you're becoming. You break the chains of inconsistency, not in one dramatic moment, but through hundreds of small choices. You stop waiting for motivation. You use discipline to take control of it. Days become simpler, clearer. You don't need help or excitement. You need structure. Life still throws storms, but discipline makes you weatherproof. Science says discipline stabilizes your dopamine systems. It makes your brain less dependent on excitement and more focused on progress. You don't need motivation anymore. You don't chase it. You outgrow it. You become the kind of person who shows up, not because it's easy, but because it's who you are. And when people ask how you changed, you don't talk about motivation, you talk about discipline. Because motivation loses the moment life gets hard. Discipline wins every time. With discipline guiding you, the future stops being a dream. It becomes a direction. Motivation feels good, but discipline builds you. And once you choose discipline over motivation, you don't just change your habits, you change your life. You build a stronger future.